Championship Finals Game 1 press conference from the University of Tampa. We have first baseman Nick Pereira, head coach Joe Urso, and second baseman relief pitcher Luke Fiker. Coach, would you please get us started with an opening statement?
Yeah, I mean, just an amazing ball game. Obviously, Satin did what we needed out of him, got us off to a good start. The offense took advantage there in the middle innings, but situational hitting almost cost us a W tonight. We had some opportunities. We didn't extend the lead, and then here comes the big home run to tie it all up, and then we got to ask, Fiker to do do the inevitable. I mean, this is just an amazing, gutsy performance to come in and give us that much work on the mound. But big time bunt late off the bench from McCaffrey and a big time hit late there for Pereira. But this is what we talk about. We talk about trying to slow the game down late in the game, 7th, 8th, 9th inning. Obviously, this one went extras, but this is what we pride ourselves in, and just really excited the guys were able to come through tonight.
Questions?
Nick, you're sitting on the bench for 9 innings, 3 hours, and then you're asked to come up in a huge situation. Could you kind of go through your mindset as you're going up there, and then go through the at-bat?
Yeah, that's just been my role on this team recently, and I've embraced it. I'm ready for the big moment whenever it comes. I'd been getting ready for a while, so I was ready to go into a big situation. And when Dennis was able to lay down that bunt and we had bases loaded, no outs, my job got a lot easier. And I was just looking for a good pitch to hit. I saw the curveball go up, and I knew I could get my barrel to it and get it in play, which we needed.
How'd that feel?
Felt great. I was elated once I saw it go past that shortstop.
Joe, you talk about, this lineup 1 through 9 is so strong, but tonight your depth won this game, didn't it?
Yeah, and that's nice when you get everyone involved. I mean, like I said, that bunt, coming off the bench, they had an aggressive bunt play on, and McCaffrey laid down a nice soft bunt where, they weren't able to even get, our catcher going to third base, and that opened up our opportunity for a big inning. Obviously, the hit, and then Ponce put it away with that double. So just clutch to be able to win an extra inning game as a visiting team says a lot for our guys and their character, and just real proud of them.
Coach, you told us last night that the bullpen was going to be key for you in this series because of the bracket being what it was. You were going to have guys go on short rest. We didn't know you were going to try to kill a kid. Was the plan, and maybe Luke could take it, actually, was the plan for you to stay in there until it fell off and Coach came and grabbed you, or was something else at play? What was the idea there with Luke coming in and staying as long as he did?
Yeah. I knew if I just kept throwing up zeros, our offense would come back and win, and I knew if I was going to keep throwing up zeros, then he was going to keep me in. So I was just going to let it ride. It's the last few games of the season. Why not? Who cares if it falls off, right?
Well, speaking of the last few games, you guys lost 8 times all year, haven't lost in more than a month. Now you got yourself set up that if they're going to grab it from you, it's got to be 2 days in a row. And you got to be feeling pretty good, huh?
Yeah, feeling real good. You put yourself in great position to get that first one, but it's a weekend series at this point. We got 2 more great starting pitchers that are going to have to do it on short rests, and now we just lost a key part of our bullpen, for tomorrow. So we'll ask Tobin Moran to step up. You're going to see some guys that haven't pitched in a while, probably have to get us some innings to get one more W, and it's going to be a grind. It's going to be a tough one. That's a great team on the other side, and we're going to come out and hopefully be ready to go.
Luke, that 9th inning wasn't an easy one. Could you talk about wiggling out of that? And it looked like they were really off stride with your delivery too. They didn't really seem to get good swings.
Right, I was trying to mix in, the long leg kick, the slide step to try and throw them off balance a little bit, but I just felt like I was throwing a little harder today. I don't know. But, yeah, no, it was a struggle. I was hitting people. My ball was running a little bit more than I liked. They started climbing on the plate, getting more up there, and just trying to wear balls. So I was trying to work away. But after I hit that first guy, got the 2-ball. We ended up challenging it. Wasn't successful. Ponce looks at me, and he goes, "Give me another ground ball." And I go, "Let's go." Let's go. Yep.
Any final questions?
Coach Lee, you just talk about your faith in Nick in that moment just to come up with running on the game.
Yeah, I mean, you try to put guys in roles. Obviously the 9 starters get all the the recognition, but you try to put guys in roles throughout the year, and he went through a hamate surgery this year and has just really been amazing for us. Catching Glanton, and then lately off the bench, he has been clutch. I mean, this is not his first one. He had one in Super Regional as well, a big hit for us off the bench. So you start developing guys in roles like that, pinch hitting, pinch bunt. Believe it or not, how important that is. Coming in late for defense, and now all of a sudden, instead of just keeping 9 guys happy, we're able to keep 12, and they stay in the game. They stay in it the whole way. So it's not easy coming off the bench, but it takes special personality, and Nick's done that for us as of late.
Coach, late in the game there was that little extra heat in that one of those tag outs at home plate. Any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, it was, the game's on the line. It's a grind. I just got away from it quickly, made sure, there was nothing for the dugout. At that point, you're up 3. The last thing we need is let our emotions get the best of us. It's a tough play. It's a contact play. It was a hard tag, but that's with 3-run lead. I wasn't going to let the dugout get out of control emotionally there.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. You guys can have those body armors if you want.
Second part of our first game press conference of the championship series. From Westchester, we have with us center fielder Carter Rust, head coach Mike LaRosa, and first baseman Austin Stalker. Coach, would you please get us started with an opening statement?
Yeah, it's a hard-fought game, which is pretty much what we expected. Unfortunately, that one's on me. I made just mismanaged some of those situations that if I had to do over, I would change, but hindsight's 20/20. Felt like boys competed great, coming back down 4-0. Stuck with the big 2-run blast. Carter got started with his home run that inning, and then Carter with that catch in the 9th. Like, are you kidding me? Unbelievable. We were in a position to win it. Unfortunately, just couldn't push that run across. But nevertheless, it's going to be a competitive series, and that's why it's a best of 3. We're not out of it yet, so regroup for tomorrow.
Questions?
Mike, how frustrating is it that as well as you guys played tonight, a ball that gets lost in the lights really kind of doing you in?
Yeah, it's tough. I feel terrible for Landon. I mean, kid's just, played above his level all year long, and it's a hard way for it, in that twilight, sun setting and the lights are on, and, high pop, you can tend to lose it sometimes in the infield, and that's what happened there. And then we walked the next batter. So 2 free bases to start that 10th. We just can't do that with a good team. And I know Landon's beating himself up over it, but I know the team's going to pick him up tomorrow.
Carter, that may be the longest ball I've ever seen hit here, and I've been coming out here since 2009. What did you get, and how did you hit it that far?
I don't really know, honestly. We knew he wouldn't go heater when hitters were heading the count, so I think I was 3-1, and I was looking for a heater. I got a good one to hit, got my barrel to it. Got it out there.
Is that the longest ball you ever hit?
Probably close, yeah.
Forget about the one you hit, Brett. The one you tracked down in the 9th. it looked like here we go again, didn't it? I mean, make that play that nobody's going to think you're going to make. 2, 3, 4 coming up in the bottom of the ninth. How'd it feel like here we go again? No.
Yeah, it definitely did. You know, I felt like we had some good momentum going into the bottom. You know, like Coach said, we were in a position to get it done. Just that's baseball sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't go your way. You know, I'll shook out how it did. But
Austin, how did his home run kind of light the fuse there? Because you followed after that. It just kind of seemed to really kind of get you guys going.
I mean, we've kind of been hot all year. Once one person gets going, we all kind of hop on. So once Carter hit his, it was kind of like, here we go. And just stuck to our approach and slowly was in all of our years kind of throughout the whole game, you know, getting our A swing off. And personally, I didn't get it off in the first 2 at-bats, so the third one followed Carter's lead a little bit. Thought I'd just take my swing and see what happens.
Did you hear their dugout telling their right fielder, you've got room?
No, I didn't. Some people could see it, some couldn't.
You gave it the old Carlton fist thing, though. You waved it fair.
I was just hoping it would.
Mike, what is it that you think you'd like to have another run at from what you said earlier?
Yeah, we had Stalk up with Books up in the third and bounced the ball past him. That cost us 2 runs. Should have had him back in that spot. And then, you know, the 10th was Straw getting on to start that inning. We talked about Button Stalk, and then, you know, I just liked the matchup for him, and we didn't. But, you know, looking back, maybe, you know, we sacrificed Bunt him and get him into scoring position. Guys hit, you know, scores that run. And even after that, you know, probably should have gotten Straw in motion there and, you know, tried to swipe the bag and get him into scoring position so we could, you know, basically could end that game. So, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, there's been many times throughout the year where we haven't bunted and it's worked, you know, and it just didn't execute tonight, and it's just the way it went, you know. So, but I was thinking, you know, with Stalk up there in the 10th, and Fiker, he's got that arm side sink. It's a tough ball to bunt to the first base side as a lefty. We knew they were going to crash their third baseman. Fiker's their second baseman coming off the mound, and he's a good fielder. So, you know, you really got to try and push something to first, and it's a hard ball with that arm side sink as a left-handed batter to push to first. And, you know, so that's kind of the thought process there. But, you know, had to do over. We should have done it just to put some pressure on him. And, again, you live and you learn. Hindsight's 20/20. You know, the number of times we didn't this year, and then, you know, somebody comes through with a big hit. But it just wasn't the case tonight.
Positive thing is it happened in game 1, and you still got a chance.
Yeah, definitely. You know, this team's never out of it. So we talked briefly after the game. You know, you come out tomorrow night and win a game, and then it resets everything. So, you know, I feel confident going in that, you know, we're going to continue to compete, and we learned a lot about that team tonight. You know, you can scout them all you want, but, you know, once you get kind of on field level with them and see how they match up against us, you get a lot more information out of it. So I think the game plan going into tomorrow, we're going to have more info too and be a little bit better prepared as well.
You know, I was talking to Joe in the last meeting about their team and the run they've been on, 8 losses all year long. You guys have 11, lost 2 games in a row once all season. So their job isn't easy by any stretch, and yours is certainly a little bit more difficult than theirs. How does that feel to guys, knowing that you guys get knocked down, you pop back up, and you know, tomorrow's anybody's game too?
Sounds like they're due for a loss, doesn't it? No, but I mean, we talk all the time, like, no 2 bad days in a row. You know, you can have a bad moment, even a bad day, but never 2 in a row. And there you go. You know, you said we lost 2 in a row once this season.
Yeah, lose the same day. You lost
Yeah. So, you know, we feel good about that. You know, I don't know anybody who's going 2-0 through this thing. So, I mean, like I said, it's, you know, you go and win a game tomorrow night and everything resets itself. And, you know, I know they're going to be playing confident because they're up 1-0, but I still feel really good about where we're at and where our team is at. And I think our team is going to go in just as confident. And, you know, the other thing is, on the flip side, a lot of those guys have national championship experience the last 2 years. For all of our guys, it's their first time. And I said that after the game, too. I'm like, look, we all got a national championship game under our belt, okay? So, you know, you could see the nerves there early. The game was getting sped up those first few innings, and we even talked about that after the third. So I feel like tomorrow night will be a little bit better, just to kind of ease into it a little bit and play our game from the jump, and hopefully settle the nerves early on. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, we feel good about everything. Would have wished we won that one.